Okay, so let's do a little bit of that continued upper Qigong. So we're not going to do it to the point where it feels like you're killing yourself, but you're going to do it to the point where you're understanding the movement in your body. So I'm going to lift my hands. We're going to just do one in each direction until we do the rounded one. So we're just going to do palms forward, one hand down, one hand up. So even that hand that's going up, the collarbone is going up, the shoulder blade is going outward and upward. And the other one's coming in and down. And then I come back. And the upper one, the collarbone is pointing upward. My shoulder blade is rolling a little bit out and up. And the lower one is in closer to the back and down. And then I come back to the middle. And then we know this one, very important for kicking and waking up the back side of your shoulder joint. This one, the shoulder blade is moving horizontally towards your spine. And, that kind of activity of the rhomboid is actually asking the front of the shoulder to open. So the reason for keeping your knees and your hips forward is to actually sort of isolate the shoulder. So that, in other words, if I let my knees move and my hips move, I'm not targeting the shoulder joint. I have to keep my knees and my hips forward so that I'm actually targeting through the thorax to the shoulder joint. Think of that shoulder blade moving toward your spine and a little bit down to open up the front of that shoulder. Okay, so related to the chair series, this time we're just going to do it like the Qigong. I bend my elbows, drop my tailbone, chin in. Important to drop my tailbone so I don't lift my elbows with my low back. I want to operate through my thorax. So I keep my tailbone down, a little bit of tone at my lower abs to bring my elbows up. Okay, now my shoulder blades are going a little bit rolling outward. Then they're coming in towards the spine. And then as I open, I can sink them a little bit more down my back. So when the hands come forward, the shoulder blades are actually moving away from each other. And then I bend my elbows. They're already flaring out a little bit at the bottom. And then drop my tail, bring my chin in, and come up with the elbows. Shoulder blades a little bit down the back. And then the elbows go out to the sides. The shoulder blades are moving towards the spine. And then they can move down. But when the hands come forward, the shoulder blades move apart. So this can actually help you not only understand your movement, but if you understand that, instead of thinking you got to kill your shoulders, you start thinking from your back. You're thinking of those muscles on your back that are operating your arms instead of this acetabulum right here at the end of your shoulder. So I'm going to bend and maybe drop my shoulder blades a little bit to help the lift of my elbows. And then when I roll out, the shoulder blades are going to move more towards the spine. So let them really come in towards the spine, like hug the spine. So it makes it easier for you to express your elbows out. And then as I open my elbows, I can let the shoulder blade reseat on my back. And then as the hands come forward, the shoulder blades are moving away from the spine. And that way, my shoulder blades start to stay connected to the back and move across the back. Okay, so when you move out, shoulder blades together. And then I'm going to push one hand down and one hand up. I'm just going to follow a circle. Let the fingertips turn inward, so you gotta stretch through your wrist, and then open. So here, the fingertips point a little bit forward in space, like towards your computer, and then up and down, and then bend in to the midline. And then open off the midline. Think of your back. So and now that you've learned the map, think about what the muscles are doing across your back. Up and down. You know, one shoulder blade's going up, the other one's going down. Bend your elbows a little bit and bring your hands in. The shoulder blades move out a little bit, because every time your hands go in, your shoulder blades go out. Shoulder blades come in to put your hands back out. Think of the muscles across your back operating your arms. And that's the right way to do it. So you stay out of the joint, shoulder joint, and move through your back. Bend in, fingertips come in, shoulder blades go out a little bit. Shoulder blades come in, hands go out. Feel the muscles across your back. Shoulder blade down, one is slid up and out. Bend the elbows in. You especially feel that lower shoulder blade roll out because the fingertips are in. And then shoulder blades together as the hands go out. So we're gonna come in, not following Alex's sequence. I'm gonna drop my hands down. And this one is just, it's a lot of nice ease for the shoulders. So I'm gonna turn the palms up and I'm gonna scoop forward. And then I'm gonna push my elbows out. So my shoulder blades are coming together. And then I'm gonna push my hands out and then roll down. If you keep thinking about your shoulders as blades constantly moving across your back, then your strength is coming from your back. I turn my palms up and I scoop up in front of me. My fingertips are at the top of my head. I push my elbows out. And you know your hands are going out, so the shoulder blades are coming towards your spine. And I'm really using my back. Letting my hands drop down. When they come in, the shoulder blades are going to slightly move outward. Turn the palms up and scoop. Roll out, so shoulder blades are coming in. And in some more, you feel the whole back strengthen. And then drop. And as the hands come in, shoulder blades relax out a little bit. Then you're going to turn your fingertips in. We're going to go the opposite way. This is a little harder. Fingertips come in, the shoulder blades go out a little bit. And then this is a harder motion for the shoulder blades. So I push my elbows out, right? So my hands are going out, shoulder blades are coming, they're coming up a little bit and in, and then they're coming up in the middle, so the middle rhomboids are working. Now the fingertips are pointed forward. And then the shoulder blades move down, can't even say the word anymore, as the hands come up. So you're always seeing this opposing motion wherever the hands go, and you can think the shoulder blades kind of going the other way. Now I turn my palms the other way and I drop down. I turn the palms down and I push the elbows out. Shoulder blades are a little bit out. When I push the hands out, the shoulder blades are coming in a little bit. When the hands are starting to come up, the shoulder blades are starting to go down and down some more, and you feel the whole back engage to help your upper back be strong enough to hold your arms up. Turn, drop the elbows. Here your legs are neutral, they're not locked, but you're not sitting. Turn the palms down. You're really isolating this motion. You push out through your elbows, and then push out through your hands. Shoulder blades coming together. And as the hands go up, the shoulder blades are going down and down some more, flat on your back. That is your shoulder blades flat against your back. And turn. Okay, so when I first started doing that, I really had a hard time with one of my shoulders in the going up phase. But if you keep focusing on what your shoulder blades are doing, once again, you bypass the shoulder joint and you go into the back. And for me, that's the beauty of what I'm learning from these arm Qigongs, is how to use my body rather than mapping just at my shoulder joint. Okay, just some of the arm Qigongs. Okay, so let's drop into the body. And there's a reason why that's the first Qigong and then this one comes afterwards. I sit down and I'm gonna bring my hands up, push my elbows out and bring my fingertips in, right? So the first part of this is to keep my knees and my toes aligned and there's a slight hip fold, but I'm gonna rotate my spine. So it's like low back, middle back, upper back, but without the chair. And then I give at the outer hip and come home. I open the hip I'm moving away from, and then let the spine turn. I'm holding the ball. I'm keeping my knees with my toes. There's a little bit of action, quiet action at your hips to help your spine be able to be free to turn. But my knees stay with my toes. And I go as far to each side as my spinal twist is capable. This hip feels like it's opening. This one has a soft bend at the hip crease, which allows my spine to twist in that direction. Okay, so you get a couple of turns of loosening up your spine, and then the next one, you turn out on your foot, which moves your arms by virtue of the body moving, and then you go into spinal twist. So you still turn to the side, but now you're in a stance. Then you let the spine go, so your fingers are framing your foot, and then you fold your hip and you return with the posture. Bring the toes back. So this is separating upper and lower. I'm doing lower first, turning out on the foot, the back of the channel, then turning my spine so that my hands frame my foot. And then I release the spine, and the energy of releasing the spine helps me to bring the lower body back. Okay, so I turn on the heel, and then I turn the spine so the hands frame the foot. And then I release the spine. That energy of turning back helps me to bring the toes back and bring the posture back. And one more time, lower body turns, then the spine, so much that my fingers frame my leg. Then I release the energy of the spine and I bring the toes back. Okay, so then I'm going to turn into a vertical ball. So that horizontal ball can be harder for a lot of us to hold. A vertical ball gives a change. I'm going to do the lower body turn. Then I'm going to do the spine so that both hands line up with the toe. And then I'm going to take my head and look forward. So I have a counter turn in my neck. Then I release the spine, my head and spine in the same direction. And then I release the posture. I come back to horizontal ball, turn to vertical ball, open the posture, turn the spine so the hands are lined up with the foot. Take the head and look forward. You feel the turn, counter turn, and then let the spine go and bring the posture back. It's kind of like wringing out a towel. Find the vertical ball, open the posture, turn the spine, 2 different moves. You start to understand these moves, it really helps you Tai Chi. And then turn and look forward. Then release the spine. and bring the posture back. And one more time, I go vertical ball, turn the posture, turn the spine, the hands line up with the toe, the head can individually turn back, which it does in Tai Chi. It sometimes looks around. It's looking one direction at the next thing that's going to happen. Release the spine and release the posture. Okay, so bring the hands in and down. So what this helped me with, just doing this Qigong helps you to be clear about where the energy is coming from, such as when you're doing pullback. You know that you're doing your posture and then your spine, and then your spine, and then your posture. If you're really clear about what energy is coming from where, that move gets so strong. So I'm in my ward off, right? That's my spine. This is my spine. This is my posture. More spine. Spine returning. Posture. So it makes you understand the turning of the waist and when you're moving the legs. It just helps you to get clearer about it and how strong it is to have a strong root and be able to be supple through your spine. Okay, so that one follows the other because the first one is really about strengthening your back and your shoulders so that you can hold postures through a series such as the second part there. Okay, all right, so I just want to do a little, since we got a few minutes here, I want to go ahead and move into our strike tiger since we've just figured this out. So we've got a little horse stance and we're going to open up the ball. Just to reconnect with your roundness. Make two fists and then turn your finger side of your fist down and just lower your hands out to the sides a little. So I still have roundness. It's not that I'm straightening my arms. They're still rounded. They're just in a different position. So it's posture, waist, and waist turns back. Waist, posture. Posture stops. Because if I keep going and I start twisting my hips, I'm out of principle. I open up through the hip joints as much as I can, and then I continue through the waist. Release. There's a little bit of hip there in the release, but posture, it's more my hip joints. Hip joint. Lift and waist. Waist and legs. So I feel really quiet through my arms because I'm feeling more of my hips pushing me from side to side. And then there's a point at which it's waist. And then I come back and I feel my legs, the posture changing my direction. And then I finish up waist to hands, release that, move through the legs. Waist to hands. I open that and use the legs. Yes, I'm using the legs the whole time, but there's times when I'm actually acting through the hip joints and then finishing through the spine, just like I did here. I'm acting through the hip joints and then finishing through the spine. And if you can get those two clear, you don't get them mixed up. You know when you have to use your legs and when you have to use your spine. So I'm going to see if I can do this. So we're going to do a channel, right? In a channel, you're going to have your hands in that lower position and you're going to step and you're going to turn. So I step, I open the back hip, I turn the waist, I lift. So the spine, and then at the end, there's a little bit more leg to hollow here. Release the spine, move into the legs. So now when I move into the legs, I don't move my arms really anymore. I step all leg, then I move into the spine and connect. Come out of it and then I go back to the legs. So being more clear about what part is when I'm really opening the hips and I'm opening one hip against the other hip, when that's the main action. And then that then turns into turning the spine. Then I don't do this, right? I step out and I'm moving my arms all around and there's no movement down below. If I know that the legs have to start the spine, then the legs are always behind the spinal movement, just like legs, spine. Right? I release the spine and come back with the legs. That Qigong is the most beautiful explanation of how to move from your legs to your spine instead of moving your spine and forgetting about your legs. Okay, so our strike tigers are really, they really come out of that. So we could do it like this. I have this, I could do this motion here. And I could move my legs, just like I did in the Qigong, and then move my spine. And then I could come back with my spine and move my legs. So I could do the same Qigong I just did, simplifying strike tiger. Move my legs, move my spine, release my spine, move my legs. Move my legs, move my spine, release my spine, move my legs. Move my legs, move my spine, release the spine, and move my legs. Same Qigong, just that I changed what I did with my arms. See how the Qigong teaches you how to get clear in your movement, in your form. It's really meant to dissect where the energy is coming from. So we're going to move into the slow set. Hang in there. We're going to do first set into to second set to the strike tigers. See if you can't find all the places where your legs set up the move and your spine finishes the move. And then the spine releasing from that move helps the potential of moving the legs in the next direction. It's everywhere. It's not just in this move. So we'll bow in. We're not going to we're not going to be a million hours at this first section. So just be aware. So we're Xing Li. Okay, so first I sink into my roots so that I can float up. Those of you who just did chair, floating from your sits bones up through your spine to your crown. Turn, relax the tops of your shoulders into your elbows, into your hands, into the floor. Open the back against the hand, moving forward. Move the legs and open the upper. Close the upper, move the legs. Step, move the legs, move the spine. Continue to turn the spine to get into the next move. Move the legs, move the spine. Return with the spine, move the legs. Then the spine, return with the spine, move the legs. So I'm breaking it apart. Of course, it moves together, with a little more seamlessly, but you have to be clear who's going first. So move the legs, move the spine. And this one you can really turn the spine. Open the back. Legs, spine, lift. Step. Legs, spine, push. Small pivot, open to the outside to come into the inside. Relax the back to push the fingertips forward. Lift the crown to drop the hands away. Move back to your left to step forward in your right. Move into your right and down to move left and up. Like a poem. Press heaven and press earth. Lift your crown to feel the drop. Cross to your left, to the right. Find your balance. Crown over tail. Open your back to move across to the left. Lift up. So here, the little spine, move the legs. Move the legs. Turn the spine. Release the spine. Set up. Move your legs. Turn your spine. Turn the posture. Crown over, tail over foot. Find your legs. Turn your spine. Push. Turn. Crown over tail. Set your legs. Turn your spine. Push from your legs. Play guitar. Legs. Spine turns and turns back. Lift. Set your legs. Turn your spine. And open through your legs. Push. Fold. So you know that your hands are coming in. So your shoulder blades are apart. Scoop. Find your vertical. Lift. Open the legs. Turn the spine. Set the legs. Turn the spine. Release. Legs. Spine. Release the spine. Use the legs. Turn to the front. Legs. Expand. Sink. Gather. So gather is going to be open your kidneys. Close the front of your body. Lift and then sink again. Open the back. Push down, lift up. Step brush. Legs, spine, push. Lift, a small gather from the back leg and strike. Legs and spine, spine return, use the legs. Foot to crown, split. So elbows are going out, shoulder blades are coming in a little bit, down, and then forward, up. The hands are coming in a little bit, shoulder blades out, sink, turn, push, strike, sink, turn, push, strike, find your vertical. Crown over, tail over foot. Don't think over there. Think where your toe is. That's where your center is. And then open. Legs, spine, legs, spine, scoop. Find your vertical. Okay. Lift, so you're reaching up and you find your vertical, you bend. Step, turn to put your heel down, legs, spine. Release, open, find your vertical, legs, spine. Release, find your vertical, step, legs, spine. Find your vertical. Step, turn. Circle elbows out to bring the hands in. You know your shoulder blades are parting. Step, push down, lift up. Follow step, come back. Open your back, send your fingertips forward from your lift, drop. From your left, right. From your right, left. From below, above. From above, drop. Lock. Find your vertical, step, legs, spine. Open the legs to push. Follow step, hook. Open your low back, needle at C bottom. Turn a little left to go right. Gather in to push out. Fist at waist, heart to toe. Push down, lift up. Step block and strike. Turn the ball over. Hammer fist. Scoop. Legs. Spine. Let the legs set up. Let the spine turn. Split. Let the legs sit up. Let the spine turn. Strike. Down. Up. Out. Scoop in. Find your next vertical. Step. Legs. Spine. Release the spine, legs, spine. Release the spine, legs, press. Foot to crown. Split. Gather. Push. Lift the crown. Follow your left hand. Your right. Let your body turn so that you can feel the counter turn. Block and push. Pivot to the front. Block with your right hand and shift left. Okay, so you're going to use the legs, lift, and then turn the spine. Step. Use the legs, lift, turn the spine, step. Use the legs, lift, turn the spine, step. Use the legs and lift, turn the spine, and step. Circle in, push, open, close, into the kicks. We set up the kick. Just let the heart turn to the right toe, step, left toe, strike, scoop, find your vertical, crown over tail over foot, open, and kick. Step, follow your right toes, turn a little left, gather, scoop, lift, open, and kick. Step, turn, scoop, lift, open, and kick. Brush knee, step, brush, and push. Turn, step, brush, and push. And lower punch. Fist at waist. Sorry, I'm out of view. Block, taking long steps tonight. Turn the ball over, hammer fist. Gather, block, parry, and punch. Big open. Circle, scoop, lift, open, and kick. Release the kick, step down, shift the weight to the right foot, bend the left elbow, double fists. Okay, so I got one hand at the bottom of the bowl, one hand up the side of the bowl, and now it's all going to be leg. I put heel, hip, heart. Now the waist turns. And then I lift the heart and round in. I come out of that a little bit. Keep one up, one down. Let it just follow, because your hand, when you move, one is in the center until you step. And when you release the foot and the heart, then the waist turns. Then I lift and I use some leg to round in. And then I open out. So here, when you open out, this is the move that we were going to work on this week. It's like you're pushing one down and pushing one up. So you feel this action through your hips. Okay, so I fold the front hip, the back hand's going down. I fold the back, the front hand's going down. So you're going to feel like that. I do the strike. And one hand's going down, the other hand's going up. When you have enough weight in your left foot, turn the ball of your left foot to complete the turn outward. And then scoop. Lift, open, and kick. Okay. So we're just adding, it's almost like you're doing cloud hands. Right, you're moving through from your legs through your waist to your arm when you do that block. And this one is just like a no man's land. People just totally forget that there's a technique there, and then it disconnects your form, and it's hard to get back into it and get your balance. But if you come into that second part of the strike, and it's like your right hand is pushing down while your left hand is lifting up, you're blocking. You got a double block going on. You're blocking down, you're blocking up. And then you open and circle. Lift, open, and kick. So for the kicks, those of you that just to connect the dots, if you were doing the chair class, because the chair class is not Tai Chi. It's the build up to Tai Chi. If you're getting to the point where you're at the kicks, you know that one of the things that's going to open your thorax, open your shoulders, is to have your thorax open. That Dow Wager's hump kind of opening up there. So when I do the kick, you know, you could separate and say, I'm going to do my arms and then I'm going to do my kick, and that's totally fine with me. You have to separate them to be able to concentrate on them. I tend to use the scoop to pick up my legs, but it requires more balance to get into the kick through your upper body. But if you need to separate the two, open your arms first and then bring up your kick, okay? So when I open my arms, I want my thorax open. Because if my chest is more open, my shoulders are more open, my shoulders are more open, my kick is going to come out. And the opposite is true. If you do your kicks like this, your kick will never come out. It'll always be like you'll be kicking, you know, an ankle. It really is that this upper girdle supports the lower girdle. And if the upper is not opening, the lower can open. Okay, so you want to take your time. And when you're doing your kicks, just like, okay, I'm in a half step, chin in, tailbone down. You can start with the two hands forward and open the other one to the back. And really feel how that naturally lifts your heart, your shoulder blades a little together and down. Feel the openness of the thorax. Then you can drop your elbows slightly without losing the connection to your hands. And then try picking up and throwing the kick. Okay, the whole thing is keeping this area open so you don't shut down your kick. All right, let's take a look at where you guys are at. When you get confused, go back to the Qigong. That was one of the very first things I remember Alex saying when he first started training us. You need to be clear. You're not clear. You need to be clear. Your energy is not clear. The Qigongs are about getting very clear. set up your lower, then move your spine. So if you just said, all right, so you get clear on this, like every day I'm just going to get up and I'm just going to do that one Qigong, hold the ball, and I'll open the lower, and then I turn the upper, and then I release the upper, and then bring back the lower. Just do that over and over again. It'll get into your body mind in a way that bypasses your thinking. You'll get into the energy, and then you'll be like, oh, I always got to set up the lower before I release the upper. And I will say, if you guys are early on in connecting with the Qigongs, you know, he started these like 10 years ago. And when he first started, I did not get the point. I really had to practice to understand. And then when I started to understand, it made bucket loads of difference in my Tai Chi form. So it takes time. You know, you have to actually do it to be able to get it. It's pretty much true in anything. So I go from the punch, and then I open. And then I scoop. So when I scoop, it's coming from the L4, L5, stretching the low back, and then finding my vertical. I didn't lift my arms. My posture came up. And then I open and I kick. I step down. Remember, the standing leg is active, putting that leg down. And then I shift my weight over to the right foot and bend the left elbow. Pick up the knee, step out, and then hip, heart, lift, and round in. Release up through the crown. Keep your right hand centered. Turn on your heel. This is legs, step, hip, heart, which is going to move your arms, and then lift your crown and round in. A little bit of leg to get you to round in, and then lift the crown to get out of the roundness. Lift the crown, open the hands, and bring the left heel in, push out with the left hand. And that will really help you to get over to your left leg. So if you don't really feel this opening and pushing with your left hand, it's going to hamper your getting your left leg. And then scoop. And you're back to a kick again. Vertical, lift, open, and kick. You could just do that. You could do that as a loop. One continuous loop if you want to just get more practice with your strike tigers. So I do the punch, and I open, and scoop, lift, open, and kick. Step down, shift to your right foot, bend your left elbow. Now your arms stay still, you use your legs. Then your heart, your waist. Lift, use your arms, round in. Lift the crown so you dissipate the gather and find your heel. Now your legs again. Step. Turn, hip, heart, hands. Round in. Lift the crown to dissipate the energy. Open the hands. Push. Bring your left heel in and push out with your left hand. And scoop. And we're going to make one round. We're going to do another round. So I'm going to lift, open, and kick. Oops, sorry. Lift, open, and kick. And then step down. Shift to the right foot. Bend the left elbow. And step. Hip, heart, hands. Lift, round in. Lift, dissipate the gather, turn on the heel. Hands are just following the body, step. Hip, heart, hands. Lift, round in. Lift the crown, dissipate the energy, open the hands, turn on the left, follow the foot, block with your left hand, scoop. Lift, open, and kick. We're going to do one more. Step down, Shift to the right foot, bend the left elbow. Step, heel, hip, heart, hands. Lift the crown, dissipate the energy, turn on the heel, find your vertical, step, heel, hip, heart, and then move the hands. So lift the crown to dissipate the energy of the gather. Bring the left heel in, push out with the left hand. Push out, push out, push out. Scoop. Heart follows the left toe. Lift, open, and heel. So that's something that you could use it to make one loop out of. Just go from kick to kick and just make a loop till you feel like you got those strike tigers. Then take that same set of arm moves and turn it into the Qigong. So I can turn and then turn my waist and round in. And release and turn. Set up the ground, lift and round in. And if the arms are just, too complex for you at the moment, it's just a circle. It really is just a ball. As you turn your hands out and you fold your fists and you just open down a little bit. That's the position. But if that is still just too confusing, go back to the original Qigong. Hold the ball, hold down its vertical axis. Lower body, upper body, release the upper body, return with the lower body. Ball, lower body, upper body, release with the upper body, return with the lower body. I think probably of a lot of the upper Qigong arm things are about building strength and flexibility in your upper body. But that one section of that Qigong will teach you a lot more about form than anything. You just have to commit to it. Say, okay, I'm going to wait for my T to steep. And I'm just going to do lower, upper, upper, lower, lower, upper, upper, lower. And just do that over and over again until you understand the difference between the energies and then how they connect and how their differences help each other. Okay.